Okay, I think I am live. Anyways, this layout has changed. I created a super nice thumbnail today. But anyways, today we are going to do a video for friends and family to connect Claude. Claude is a chat LLM or a model, or well, the model is Claude 3.7.net, or depending on the family of the models. But it's a model created by the company Anthropic, and they have a tool that is called Claude, similar to ChatGPT. If you don't know, if you know, it's okay. So there are very popular tools, and I saw that they released 2 months ago. They released MCP servers. MCP servers are kind of tools for the LLMs, for the AIs, and we will see it now how it works. So hopefully this won't be a mess. So I am trying this for the first time. So we are going to do together because there are many tutorials there doing that. So you can probably watch a better video than this one. And this is a live, but I don't know if I cannot see the chat. So if you are someone by mistake entering the chat, I haven't set up properly. I'm looking in my iPad. I haven't set up properly the thing. So let me see if I appear in the live. Yes, it's there. An amazing thumbnail. Now I have to mute this somehow. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna stop. And here, okay, I can see the chat, but no one is there, so no problem. And I don't know what is OBS telling me here. Welcome to the live chat, whatever. So let's go to the tutorial view. Okay, I have interesting that you can see that, but I cannot see the Claude screen. Why? I don't know. Okay. So let me check. So this is Claude, and this was a tutorial that I was trying, well, a thing that I was asking to Claude, but now I lost the screen. Okay, let me check. It's interesting that you can see Claude. Let me see. And I cannot see Claude. Why is that? Okay. No. I can see in the screen that I am sharing that is Claude there, but in my screen I can see Claude. So let me try to open again. Okay, somewhere it even appears here, Claude, but you cannot see it, not refreshing. Okay, so the screen is not refreshing. Now I have Claude. Let me hack OBS. So we have the video capture. If I hide, not this is me. Okay, this is again, but it's not refreshing. Why? Let me retina. Now, okay. Now I think it will be there. Okay, so this is Claude. This is like a ChatGPT, and I am not even very familiar with that because I use more ChatGPT app, desktop app. So this is an application that you can install in Claude. So if you never went to Claude, it's Anthropic. So you search here Claude.ai. You will get the website because I am already logged in, and I am also paying the premium membership. I think they only have one. They don't have the Pro as in OpenAI. So you will get this, and it's a similar chat. Here you can use the different models. And the interesting part of this is that this can use some tooling here that is uploading files because it can do it from files that OpenAI does. And I never tried this GitHub that is in beta, and never tried the Drive, Google Drive, that in Gemini you have by default. So I imagine that Google invested on this tool, and so you can maybe integrate a bit the AI results with these tools. But we are going to go further today. We are going to try to give like tools to the AI to start working, right? And in order to do that, to activate the MCP protocol, let's have a look at the MCP protocol documentation a bit. We are not going to read everything because it's late in Dubai. So the MCP protocol, I think it was released 2 months ago, and I saw that most of the projects are based on Node.js. So for the people that are trying this, you need to be not a developer, but you need to have installed Node.js. So if you need any help on that, you can let me know. I would be happy to help you. I will post this video probably for friends and in LinkedIn. So anyone that is interested to share information can share with me. And the MCP protocol that requires Node.js, it has the three main things. So with the protocol, it's a specification for allowing the LLM models, the large language models, that we prompt and we ask stuff to do, to create kind of tools that are compatible with other LLMs, so they follow this protocol. Probably in the future we will get more protocols. And so here it's saying the model control specification SDK. This is for the developers. You can, so the local MCP server support in Claude is the thing that we are going to use now. That is the Claude desktop ad, and the open source repository of MCP servers. Okay. So one interesting part here in the MCP server is that we have GitHub. If you don't know, this is the top tool now owned by Microsoft for developers to store all the projects, most of the source code, open source code projects, or not all open source. And the companies can use this to store the code and allow developers to share repositories, to share the repos, so they can push and do stuff and control the versions of each file and check the reviews and everything. So if you don't have an account, well, if you don't have an account, you won't get this user, but I think you will be able to browse this model context protocol servers. And here you have a README. Usually the repos, these are the files from the repos of the source code, the source code that the programmers wrote. And here is the README. So this README is by a thing that is by convention. So if you add a README file in the repository, like .md, that is a markdown, so you will get some information and usually the instructions about how to use the repo, and or what is about the repo. In that case, it will explain what is the model context protocol server. So these are MCP's tools that were created for open source, so anyone can use them. Okay. And so this means that we will, if you see here, GitHub, Google Drive, Google Maps, Memory, Postgre, we can connect Puppeteer. That this is very interesting because it's like having a browser for Claude or for the LLM, and this means that it can do a lot of stuff, because Puppeteer is if I am not wrong, it's used a lot on testing and it's used as a headless web browser. It means a web browser that you cannot see, or a web browser that can open, and for instance Chrome, but it supports multiple browsers. So this is a long story, but let's say that Puppeteer allows you to control your browser, navigate on the internet, and do some actions, click buttons, whatever, and do some stuff. And it's based on Python, I think, or no, I don't know, maybe not. This was based on another project in Python, but Puppeteer is for mainly TypeScript, but I am not sure if it's supported by other stuff. Redis is an in-memory thing, And something that is more famous for the business guy is the Slack channel management messages. So we have some integrations to use Cloud through Slack. Okay, being said that, let's do something and start doing the stuff. And so now in Cloud you have settings, and in settings we have an scaling part for everyone that is called developer. And MCP's protocol, it's the first time that I see this, so be patient. So we can edit the MCP, get started. So if I click get start, it will go to internet and start explaining me more about what are these core MCP concepts. So if you're interested, feel free to go there and read everything. So here is setting on the environment. In that case, it's using UV. That this is a Python thing, and in order to have these servers installed, I think they started with Python, but in that case it would be much easier than that for us. So let's go directly to the edit config. So this config is it opens this file. This file is a JSON file. So if you don't know, JSON is the way the servers, mostly 80% of the servers, the REST API that you use in internet, they share the information in a specific format. Okay, we don't share with doc. We don't share. I don't know. Direct. Well, we can share. The browser can share information, files, everything in multiple formats. But the most common format to use for sharing entities and data and resources on the internet is just JSON. Okay, we will see now what is JSON. I am going to use an editor. Let's try to use one that is available for everyone, that is this text edit. Okay, and we will see what is going on there. So a JSON format is something that it's always contained in brackets. If you want to know more about the JSON format, you of course can Google it. And I think in Google you also have some examples, code formatted. This is for formatting your JSON, but you will see a lot of stuff. But we will see, I think, quickly JSON by installing our first MCP. Okay, so here in the Cloud desktop config, we can specify all the MCP servers that we want. Okay, in that file, I open that file directly here, and it opened in the Finder. And in the Finder, I am using an editor, something that allows me to modify the content in the file. And I am only going to copy paste, so I am not going to even write anything. So if we were in the MCP, so this is a repository that Claude created to share a lot of MCP servers for free. I think anyone can create MCP following the SDK. So we have here, okay, here good to know, we have the TypeScript MCP. So it's supported in 2 different languages, the SDK. So SDK, it means that they created some kind of tooling to create that MCPs, but I imagine that the protocol can work in multiple languages, okay? Because a protocol at the end is a kind of communication between 2 parts. So we have in TypeScript and Python, and we have one interesting that will help us a lot is the installer. Okay, so with this MCP installer, and I am curious about one thing for the developers, guys. So in Node.js, the developers in Node.js, we use this npm index search tool that any code that we want to reuse, we bundle in libraries, and these libraries or we call them packages, and these packages are shared across the internet, and they are in GitHub mostly, but in that website we can search them. So because this is TypeScript based, I think we will, if you go to the source, the extension, okay, it's MTS. What is that? Okay, import server, I think it's not JS, right? So yeah, it's a JS TypeScript project, okay? And here, if I have more clues, so this is the name of the package, right? So this package, usually, because it's a Node.js package, we will find it as well in npm, okay, and it's here, okay. But in our README, I am going back to the README. In the README, I have the instructions for every MCP will have the README and the instructions to install the stuff, right? And here it's put this in the Claude desktop config JSON that Claude application show us in one of the buttons. So we need to copy this in order to install the new server. And this server, this is the JSON. The JSON is a key value uh, objects that are connected through brackets and some in arrays, but let's say that this is the MCP server's root level, and then we will have all the MCPs. So the MCPs in that case itself is this, right? So it's a hierarchical graph, and it's complicated to understand all of this in one day. But for us, it's only copy paste now. I copy it directly from the code and back to the editor. I need to be inside the brackets. I don't know if I am not wrong. And okay, so we are going to save, and if it doesn't work, we will see what is going on. So I close this, and we need to restart Claude, I think. So, but even if you close the Claude thing, it's still open, so let me close it. And now I open Claude again. Notice this ChatGPT, Claude, and in Claude you will see, okay, so in Claude now it should appear something, but it's not appearing. Okay, so here we should see after restarting the tools that I just installed, but it's not working. So let's see what is going on. Settings, developer. Okay, interesting. We have the here and it's running. Okay, now suddenly when I open this, they appear. So it's here, and here we can see these new tools installed right away. And yeah, let me check one thing. Second, look that our video is still recording. I don't know if I can get the. Okay, I am not getting. Let me check one thing. Okay, so view your channel, and here is, let me check one thing. Here is and because it's a success, I'm going to share the link to a few people, and yeah. So now we will see that these tools that we just installed will be tools that Claude can use to install more MCP servers, because this I will explain right now. I will explain right now. So what is that? So now we have tools. Claude use tools provided by specialized servers, install local MCP servers. So we will be able to install directly these servers right away in the text in our text area, and we will be able also to, okay, I don't know what is the difference between install local MCP server, install MCP code is cloned locally on your, okay, so we can install locally, or we can install an MCP server via MPX or UVX. I don't know the difference now. So the difference is that they are using an installer right away in our system. But yeah, I don't understand that two options, because at the end both no, one thing, MPX will use the package will install, so we need to, in the first option it will be persisted, I imagine. So any new session chat that we open in Claude, it will already have the MCP server that we installed. But if we delete, if we don't want to keep that server installed, it will use MPX or UVX that are package tooling that use in Python. So MPX is for Node and UVX is for Python. And yeah, we will see it. So now we want to install something that allows us to write in our file system. Okay. In our file system, what is the file system? Is Finder, right? When we store a document here, we can create new document and store images. I think everyone is familiar in 2025. So now we will install this application. In order to install this application that is for file system, we can go to the repo, and in the repo we have this file system secure file operations with configuration access controls, or we can go again to npm, but I think this will be harder to find. Maybe MCP file system, not harder to find, but the problem is that we will have many options. I think it's this one. It's the model context protocol server file system. Also, it's important when we browse a package here, it's important to know what is the activity. So this repo was published 2 months ago, but probably because once it's done, the MCP server is done, or maybe not, but we will need more updates and improve this MCP server. But at the moment, I think for adding this tooling to the system, it's enough. And also we have it here in the repo that Claude, I think this repo should be okay. So they created an organization called Model Context Protocol. I was expecting Anthropic here, but it's okay. So usually in GitHub you have either the name of the user, a single user, or an organization, and here the repos. So it's Model Context Protocol servers, and here you will see also the Model Context Protocol IO. That this, I think, will open the website that we just shown. Okay, so this is the documentation where it explains how is the architecture working. For the idea is to have a Claude IDs tool. IDs because the agents can be inside the ID. ID is a tool for developers, but it can be in any, it says tool, so it can be, imagine Google Drive or Gemini, or I don't know which they use. You can use directly from spreadsheets, and you can connect your spreadsheet to some different tools. Okay, we are not going to do that today, but you get the point. So now let's try to install this. So instead of copy pasting the thing that we did earlier to prepare the document, to add the installers, now we can directly. Okay, it's always a bit more secure to follow the instructions from the repo. Also, you need to be very careful if you don't know, so look for assistance if you need help, because someone can scam you somehow, put some virus, I don't know, in this repo, so you need to be careful and understand what you are doing. So, but now I am not finding the file system. Okay, so here we have the file system, and again inside the file system we have the MCP server. I can trust this because I know Claude, I know Anthropic, I know that the link in Anthropic is quite safe. I watch other people using this. Okay, be careful that this is a regular scam, that someone tells you, okay, go to that link, and instead of protocol, it's protocols or whatever, and they leverage this to make you install viruses in your computer. So you need to be careful. You are also here giving a lot of power, a lot of control of your machine to the LLM. But as we will see, the LLM is always asking to allow. We have to trust him, to trust it. And here you can see all the permissions that you are going to do. these permissions at the same time are possibilities, new options that the LLM will have, like reading files, reading multiple files, writing a file, edit a file that is similar but is editing. So writing, I imagine, is creating a new one, and create a directory list, move files, search files. So you can even search files in your system. Also, you need to be careful because I don't know, if you create in the future some other actions, you can expose some sensitive data. Yeah, so here we can do the same that we did before and copy this in our JSON, but in that case, we only need this. But if you look at this, here this, you need to remember that this is in the key arcs, whatever. But in npm.js, you can copy directly from the title. Then maybe this, so if it helps, way better. And we will have to ask now, because Claude has these tools, he can install by itself. So I can say, please, always polite, but probably we don't need please, install this MCP server. I hope he will understand. It's also true that these servers are quite new and are somehow maintained. This means that they can fail a lot. So we will see by the end of the video or this session that we have other options that are maybe more secure or easy to use in the future, right? So now this is something that it can be a bit annoying, that is going all the time, allowing any tool for the chat. And I only have two options to allow these tools. So any chat that I open again, I will have to do the same thing all the time. So allow for this chat means that I'm going to allow this action that is trying to do. Now we're using the MCP server for installing an application, and we can see the steps here. I am installing an MCP server via npx.uvx. So here we have the server file system, and here I am going to allow and allow for this chat. So if I install more stuff in that session, I will be able to not I won't need to click this over and over again. So let me allow this chat. Okay, it's installing, and okay, now we have success. The thing disappeared, but we can always check what is going on. The MCP for file system has been successfully installed. Okay, so now I can say, okay, I want to, what can we create? So give me a recipe for carbonara spaghetti very short and right to the point. I misspelled spaghetti. I don't know. Anyways, the good thing about LLMs is that you can do a lot of typos and it will understand. So cook, okay, we have this our recipe, and now I want to store this in the file system. Okay, so now if I do this and I look into my Finder, I think downloads is one of the first folders that you can. So now I can say, okay, can you write down in markdown format in the downloads folder this, I probably misspelling recipe, but I don't know. It's a very complicated word in English, but I think you understand. So can you write, especially for us, because it doesn't pronounce like it's written. So now I will hit and let's see what is going on. Okay, now it's saying I will write. It's formatting in Markdown. Markdown is a format that is very easy to use, and you can also Google it. Okay, error. And what is the error? Encounter an error while trying to do that. I don't know. If we try again. So the good thing is now it's working more like an agent. The bad thing is that it's not working, and I don't know why. Okay. I see. Also, okay, so now here it's allowing me to download by manually clicking, but this is not what I wanted. So this is a failed test. Every time that it didn't work because every time that we use, now you can see in the file, right? But every time that we use the install a new package, a new MCP server, we need to restart Claude. So we are going to quit and start Claude again. This is ChatGPT. I am looking for a spotlight. So I use Claude again. Okay. And I'm gonna ask another recipe. So can you please create a recipe for oops, now disconnected for choice of open MCP. So these are the problems that I heard that they are happening many times. So the file system, edit config, it's failing, or maybe it can be a so okay, let's check what is going on. Let's open with the text edit. So the format is correct. The command is mp, it's mpx, and in that case it's mpx as well. Okay. Okay, so these are the problems that I heard. Let's see if we can. So now we have still two tools, but the file system one is not working. And this is interesting. Maybe in the repo, we have, in this repo we also have the issues that some people face. And test issue from MCP. So 1 hour ago, test issue MCP fetch is not defined, remove partition. So what we are going to do is to try. The bad thing here that I can see is that in settings, there is not an easy way to install, restart these servers. So in that case, MCP installer is working fine. In that case, it's not working. And if we open the logs folder, let's see, we see more close. And get the info open with text edit. Okay. Okay, interesting method not found. Message from server. We can try one thing. I am going to remove this MCP server. I am going to be back because it's using MPX and MPX. I am copying this again. And so we have two options. One is through MPX, and I want to install local MCP server. So I'm going to install it locally. MCP server. Okay, view whatever. I need to allow again. Okay, hopefully, so now it says, okay, I installed the thing. It doesn't appear in our config yet. Okay, install. No, it just has been successful. So let's close Claude, and now we are going to services. Okay, it's failing. Okay, so this is quite complicated to, yeah, it's saying that read the logs. Let me check what is going on. So let me open one terminal. Okay, so here so when it started complaining about this. Photoshop the guidance, go there, install, close unexpectedly log due to process existing. Let me try to do this np. So yeah, one thing that I don't know is when we set these settings. Yeah, maybe I skipped a lot of stuff. So edit config. In that edit config, I cannot see where is installing the packages. So I'm gonna do one thing. So I'm going to close this npm install. I am installing directly manually myself. So this is something that you need to know, that apparently on YouTube everyone is working super happy with these tools, but it's not that the case. So we have this npm. Here you have the instructions to install with npm. So here we do npm, and I'm going to install globally. Let's see what is the messages that we get. Maybe I need to install more dependencies, but I don't think they are required. Or maybe not npm. So the problem is that my node version is 22, is quite new, and I got no problems installing this server globally. Let's see if now, if I restart and I open again. It takes time to even load the, yeah, so when it started to load the thing, and I open the logs folder, the installer I think open with text edit. So this is the installation log, I imagine. So we have all this, but it's constantly saying message method not found from list. We can try to see if the AI can help me on this. And meanwhile, we can also Google. Google is always there for, for helping, even in the days of AI. Yeah, I pasted too much things. The JSON RPC error invalid. No, but it can be anything. MCP malware installer attending. This usually happens when the client is trying to use feature or API that doesn't exist on the server. There might be a version mismatch. Yeah, the problem is with the version. But then what version? The server doesn't have functionality implemented that will be like to me, I can assist. Maybe it's because I am using NPM. Let me see in the repo. Okay, so this is issues I have. No clues about RPC, unexpected end of JSON, GitHub. So apparently for few people it's working. So I imagine that this package JSON doesn't have the node version. I probably went, but there are no requirements. These are servers that aim to demonstrate. Here we have the npm rc, but this is only the registry. And here it doesn't specify. This was updated 3 months ago. What is the node version now again? Node. So we are in version 23. So I have 22. Let's do npm install. Probably I need to install, I have to install Node.js in a different way. Method not found. I am googling. Yeah, so it doesn't found a method. Probably part of the protocol could not attach. There is here. Could not attach MCP, whatever. Delegation. I had the file system working along with Brave Search. New, nothing is working. No, nothing. After the file, it's very random. I also had file system research. It's happening me as well. I had included the code. Yeah. So apparently there is no solution how to configure Windows. Yeah, is what I was expecting. So the problem is using npm based on servers UX work correctly. So with Python is working, with Node.js is not working. So if I do it through UVX, I think I have UVX, right? I have UVX. So instead of doing this, here we have, okay, in the server configuration, so we will get it work. In the server configuration, we have the file system, and now instead of copying the Node.js, this is Docker. There is no UVX version. Let me check. So here but this is MCP server, this is npm. Yeah, because this is a TypeScript package. And MCP server SQLite. No, there is no option for UVS. installing MCP server globally instead of using npx. This is what I did, using absolute path to both nodes. So npm root, I did that. And I didn't did this verification. Let's try this. The problem is, so we have user file system, it can find the version. Now I have the program modify, so now instead of, okay, I see. Okay, so we are going to use this, but the problem is that folders are Windows based. I hope it will work on, and I need node command. Okay, so let's use the power of AI. macOS. So now we have this. I don't need the repository, or I need, so GitHub repository. Do I need this? In that case, it's not okay. We are going to try it without the repository, but I'm going to copy this. And yeah, this is why we need support for this. There is one tool before you escape, because this is getting too technical. So Zapier, they released this. So they released this. We also need to try this. We can maybe try this today as well. Zapier is a tool that is similar to other workflow tools. So when you can integrate many applications easily by no coding and dragging and dropping, but it requires a lot of boilerplate and stuff. So please confirm your Zapier. I don't remember my password, so I probably will have to reset. Yeah, I don't know. Let me reset this. So Zapier is allowing you, for instance, also to connect to many different tools that are inside Zapier. So you can send emails, connect to Slack, everything. The only thing that you cannot do is to do the file system thing. That is, I think, interesting for some things that you can store in your local directly. So I am going to reset my password, and meanwhile we are going to try to fix manually. So this is, I know that this is very difficult if you don't know anything about programming and coding and stuff. So now the problem is that the package is failing for some reason, and I think it's because I have an environment. I have an special way of installing Node.js that allows me to have multiple different versions in the same system. It's like having Microsoft Word 95, 96, 97, 98 until 2025, but this can confuse standard applications like Claude. So we need to manually indicate where is the file system installed, because it's not capable to find this MCP server. Okay, so now I need to open, I need to open the config. Again, I'm gonna use cursor this time. Okay, cursor is another magic that can write in the system, but let me close this agent. But anyways, this is for another day. Another day we will play with cursor and do more use cases. So now the problem is that it's not possible for this, but if I do this server file system, okay, yeah, but I think this server file system, so here I have the command, and I have, let me format this, configure, I don't even have a format for JSON, okay, now it's formatted, so what I am not sure is if I have to remove this or I can keep this. Anyways, I think it's not important. So we have in local bin node, so if I do which node, it finds my version of node. This is 23. Probably I want to use npm use 22 again. I prefer to use paired odd even. So I prefer to use even versions instead of odd because I think even are more stable. I think evil is the thing that you can divide by 2. If I am confused, sorry. And okay, so do we have this? Perfect. We have the folder. I have to copy paste this, so I'm gonna copy paste this and go here, and now I am indicating where is my node version installed. Now I need to figure out where is that. So this is not modules in lib. This should be the same, right? But I'm not sure. So in order to, okay, so user, looks like, let's see if we can find this. ls, okay, quote. It doesn't find this, so maybe I can do, but I don't remember npm list. Modules folder in Mac OS, is there any way to get that folder with npm CLI or any other CLI? Let me check, probably I'm disconnected from OBS. Okay, so we have okay, yeah, I've seen this in Google, so let's copy this. So now we have the folder. Okay, now I need to switch this to this, and now this should exist, maybe not, we will see. And to check this, it doesn't exist, but let's go to node modules. Now I can see the model context protocol, so now I do add model context protocol server file system, and here I have this, and here I have what? index y. Okay, so this red means that is there. Okay, let me check this for sure. I'm going to open again with cursor. Yeah, it's that the folder and file. So now, sorry, I lost this. I am copying this. Probably it was already what I pasted. Yeah, it was okay. So now, let's close Claude, and probably won't work. I quit Claude. I start Claude again. So it doesn't like. So now we are doing this. File system failed. The version is okay. And let's try one last thing. Node. Yeah, it's MCP server, so you can see that it's asking me for the usage. So it's there. We can try another thing as well. So now I'm gonna do settings, because this is also Node, right? So this is also Node. Let's try this. It's weird that this is working. So we have args, file system. I don't think the key is important. It's asking me the repository, but what? I don't want the repository, so I don't need. So this should call and running. There is no way to restart this. So I'm going to close this, I'm going to close this, I'm going to quit. I'm going to Claude, sorry, Claude again. And if I open, it's all the time the same, so let me check if I can search Node, it's not there. So the problem is that this JSON message method not found is that method that is trying to do all the time. So initializing server started and it's connected. We have the Docker option, but I don't like this. But these all directory exposures are mounted by default. MCP, Docker build, I don't want that. And this is not just implementing the model context protocol. The problem is, yeah, the issues are related to the repo and not to this specific thing. And I tried the solution that was offered in that thing. Important notes. Yeah, so this is npm install. It's global install. So I think even this, if I do npx, yeah, it's working. So something is wrong with this. You are an early explorer, so so the feedback is very bad. automatic on start Claude when you log in, quick entry, menu bar, Claude settings, developer, and I have an edit. So let's see, I could not start, I don't have any more idea. So MBM, MCP, file system, but I think I should do this on Google. This is being don't work with MBM. This is probably on the and I was able to successfully reproduce this program and fix it. What is the workaround? Because it's saying workaround avoid npx install packages globally. Avoid npx install package globally is what I did. And then you use the node and then you use the arc. Okay, now what I previously okay. And using this, let's do and also I should use Chrome, but I think this is not. I haven't checked this. Okay, for again. Okay, close the whatever. Now if I do node version, it's 22.13.1. And what version are they using here? 22.11.0. Let's try the 22. Okay, now we have the file quit. We almost make it run, but I think it will be impossible, and I think if this is not working, what is the point of doing this? I install through this server. I can do another thing, settings. One thing that is asking me is to, okay, so let's do remove nbm, disable nbm, and install node.js with room. So node.js is managed by iOS. Well, I have updated my iPhone. Okay, so the point is the first disable, so I can disable npm. Okay, brew update brew install node. So let's do this. So now, because they say that with it failed with npm, now we are going to disable npm. So in my session, I have somewhere, I cannot see this. Okay, this one. I need to comment this. Sorry. I need to comment this. Oops. I need to comment this. I need to close this. And now, but this is very sad. Brew install. So now if I do a new session, node, it's still there. It's still there. If I do which node, okay, but now it's using the system one. Interesting. And now node version is 23. And node whatever. Maybe it auto updates, but not the system updates and not this by default. Let's try again. So now I have Claude, please. I have, okay, now I probably need to go back to cursor, and instead of doing this again, MPX, and then instead of doing all this stuff, we can do this, and we can do this. And now we are going to open again Claude. No error, no error, no error, error. Then it's not even not. Maybe it's in memory. Open with, let's see. Oops. It's the same error. Early protocol debugging, method not found, install report, name, install report, description, install MCP server via MPX. Okay, it's trying to install all the time. Okay. Let's try one last thing. So now we have installed. So maybe it's not the best way to use this install server. Okay, Claude settings. And I'm gonna remove the installer. I'm gonna do this edit config again. Now I only have this. And let's go back to the repo. So we have the file system, and there the installation is this. Okay, yeah, this is a bit different, right? Why it needs username desktop? I need to change this. And this is, and now you can sandbox it. So here I am allowing the, I imagine, so this is MPX. Okay. Yeah, I forgot this. I forgot this argument. Or maybe we can even ignore this. Okay, let's remove the args. And let's try this. the terminal. Okay, it's working. And this is still complaints. You can see new logs there. Quit Claude. Now this should stop, right? Yeah. So it is failing even more. File system expand and on end. Okay, maybe I need to specify at least one folder, but okay, developer, config. I am a bit tired now. So we have this desktop. Let's change this to this, and maybe we can offer also, oops, downloads. Okay, I'm going to close this. This is the same file. Claude, quit. Come on, Claude. It will fail. Come on. It's not failing. It's not failing. Okay. So I think all the problem here was I needed to indicate some folders. Okay, so then the install tool is a bit messy because now this should work. Okay, so let's see. So I am here almost for 1 hour, and it's okay that it's very satisfying when you solve a problem and it takes you an hour, but no, it's not 1 hour doing that. But now we can edit that video for sure. And now that we have our server MCP service in the setting that we have seen, let me see if the window is open. It's not open. Okay, anyways, now we have our server running, and this, if we go back to Finder, now I allowed the tool to write it here. So now I can see that now finally I have the tools available, which is magic. Is magic after a while. And I also needed to, I am not using MVM now. Probably I will restart it tomorrow. I configure again or enable the MVM again to see if that's the problem. But I think the main problem here was that it was not capable to find any folder to use. So maybe if you want to use MCP servers, you need to learn first the protocol if you are a developer, and also try to get your own MCP servers, right? You cannot use the community ones. So if you are in a big company or a middle-sized company, you need to create your own MCP servers and maintain them, so you don't suffer this kind of stuff. But in that case, we are using with Claude. That is something that you use in the desktop. But these MCP servers can be used in this exact same can be used in Cursor, but in Cursor we don't need that because it can write directly into files. But nothing prevents me to add it to Cursor. Cursor is an editor that has an awesome agent. I have a video that I lost the audio the other day. But anyways, so we can do similar stuff if I am not mistaken. So we can go here into cursor. Yeah, I am in cursor already. And here I have settings and cursor settings. And also I have an MCP section, and here I added another MCP that it looks green, it works partially, but it's not able to connect to the DB. Now I have the similar file, right? And now I need to do the same thing. And if I do that, now cursor can use as well the file system, right? So now I am going to prove that it works. So this is an scraper test. So I am going to open the agent, and I don't know how to click the chat. So it's using the Sonnet Top Max Pro 1. So here we have the, and I am going to try to write a carbonara recipe, or write a chicken soup recipe, write a chicken soup recipe in Markdown in the file system. In that case, just to test MCP server, use the MCP server to write that file in download folder. Okay, we are going to do this. I'm going to copy the prompt so I don't have to type it again. And now this agent is working similar to Claude, because it's using the model, by the way, the same model. And now it says me to please enable usage-based pricing to use this model. Okay, this is pricing based. No, let's. If I will check the price, so we are going to send again. I'm going to check the price, and I am sure that I will have to either top up some money, or we will see. Path downloads, okay. So calling MCP with the path downloads. Let's see. Access denied, path outside download directories, okay, so now it's trying again, no parameters. Yeah, that's what the recipe into your folder. So now it's trying to use the, okay, it worked. Calling MCP tool. Now we have the path. Okay, understand that this has to store it here. It runs the tool called MCP tool, so we can see that it's using the MCP tool. And now in Finder, in downloads folder, I have the chicken soup recipe. Okay, and now we are going to order a new recipe, but not this time in Claude. So please, but instead of chicken soup, we can do noodles fried Toki with 3 proteins, raw and brown rice. I don't know. Toki is a mix of ingredients. Let's see what it does. And I am going to hit. It should ask me permissions again. So now it's telling me that return the directories, allow file system local. Now for this chat, I don't know why it's the empty object. Okay, it's okay. Now it's using the correct. So apparently this tool requires the path and the content, and with the path and the content it does some stuff, and the path is the file format, and the content is markdown text formatted. That is this thing that goes with this sharp. So I don't. It's not sharp. It's not high-stack. I don't. How is this called? I don't remember now. But you have these kind of things. Allow for this chat. I am allowing a lot of stuff, and I need to allow until for that given session. And we have the recipe that is raw tuna, raw salmon, brown cooked chicken thicks, or I don't know, the recipe provides from there, whatever. And now we will check that in the finder we finally have this recipe. So now if I can open this using cursor again, or I can open this with different other tools that support Markdown. And if I open this and I do the preview, I can see in the preview I am going quickly because I am going to for today. This is very late in Dubai. So we have our recipe, the instructions, and everything. So we managed to today. We managed after 1 hour and a half to set up our first MCP with a lot of problems, which is really nice because we discovered that it's not that straight away depending on the configuration of your computer. Also, this computer is using Mac OS, and also in Windows it will be different, in Linux it will be different. I don't know if, I think the app is not supported by Linux or Linux straight away. Maybe you can use some kind of package. I don't know if in Ubuntu is supported or no, but every file system is different, right? So this folder stuff is different on every file system. And I think this file system tool is very powerful because you can store data in your local generated by the AI without having to get or pay for any service in the cloud, so like NHN or whatever. And then when you have this, we can also ask to create a calories table for pork and chicken soup ingredients comparison, and this time write it in Excel format. Okay, so the problem is now I don't have Excel installed here, right? I need to install Excel. Maybe let's try to use, anyways, it will create an Excel format in downloads folder. So we should be able to see the table comparison ingredients, so we can do any data, and all the AIs now they support the XLX format as well. That is the format, the standard open format for Excel. So any tool can generate this Excel automatically. And okay, it's taking a bit of time. It's analyzing the ingredients. Okay, it's creating the book, it's adding some columns. This is a lot of code, but at the end you don't have to do anything. This is like the internals of the Excel. If you ever open an Excel with this exact format and that is not binary, you will see similar stuff. Okay, now it failed, thank you. Yeah, and it's starting again. No, please. ChatGPT is better to do that, but I think ChatGPT you cannot connect on MCPs. Or even Gemini, you can directly straight away store in Drive. Maybe it's not doing on purpose, so because it's more friendly with Google, but I don't know. Okay, now it works, and now we have, it should be creating the Excel here. Okay, it created in CSV, so it created a lot of stuff, but at the end, write it in the open. Let me check this, if the format is the Excel format, or maybe it failed creating the Excel and it said, okay, let's use CSV. And if I do open in numbers, continue, I need to install, okay, here we have the Excel, let's say, in CSV format, but it's interesting that it has the colors. So let me open in cursor one for the curiosity. So cursor is here, let's do this, and now I am going to do this here anyways. This is the recipe, this is for now. Let me close all this stuff, close others, close. Okay, so with CSV and numbers is auto formatting, so we are not specifying any color, but it's okay. So at the moment for a demo it's more than enough. This can be exported in Excel and then you can format even using AIs nowadays, so you can do a better format. The important stuff is the data and the important stuff. So maybe also another interesting thing is adding formulas that CSV doesn't allow. But I think for the demo for today, it's we did what we were promising, that is to do a tool. It took a bit of time. We debug and we found the solution, which is really nice. And now I wanted to show you amazing thumbnail that I created with Canva in 1 minute. Hopefully this got a lot of SEO in YouTube and everyone is watching this video and staying here for 1 hour and 30 minutes. Thank you very much for your time. And the next day, I probably will show you some of the projects that I'm working on, but also I think we need to use more stuff on Cursor and use the Zapier integration, right? Because it's true that Zapier will be great and to do a lot of stuff easily with Claude. And yeah, but the idea is the same. So once you have the MCP server working, you can extend Claude limitless and it can do a lot of stuff. Thank you very much for watching this and keep tuned. Let's keep tuned. So anyways, subscribe to the channel. It's my personal channel, so it's not anything special, but if you want, I will do this kind of live. Yeah, I am trying to find the OBS. And anyways, if you don't want to subscribe, it's because and you receive that video, it's because you can find a easy way to see how you can set up the MCP tools.